ban, but they kind of swap it up a little bit or switch it up against Giants. It's not always we see it. It's been one of the main champions for Pepinero, especially before he got into the LCS, but he's not really been dominating on it yet.
Yeah. It is a little bit curious, but H2K, they are going to ban the Jax away too. That has, of course, been the permanent ban fixture against Giants Gaming. On the other side, the Kalista, the Annie are both taken away. Hjarnan had a pretty solid performance on that Kalista. We had a lot of very strong ones yesterday.
Kalista has really become one of the best AD carries here in Europe and most picked ones, and also teams tend to ban it away if they don't feel like their AD carrier wants to take it, because you can get it in the first rotation on the blue side, on the red side, I'm sorry. Giants here don't really want it for Adryh. Instead, they're most likely looking for Sivir, being his, in my opinion, best AD carry, and I feel like that's where they should aim towards.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. Here we see the Morgana banned away. There have been a couple of odd and end bans against Rydle. It's either the Morgana or the Thresh, and arguably this has been the performance he's done better on in this champion.
I think Rydle is a good player in terms of skill shots, and he likes to be a little bit of a playmaker for Giants, but he very often talks about how he needs to be better at roaming, and when he can actually roam away from Adryh, leave him alone in the lane, and when he can either go for deep wards or set up a gank. And that is a thing we're gonna have to see if he's getting better and better at, because so far Rydle has been somewhat of a, do we want to call him an inconsistent support? We don't really get to see too much from him, and then one day he suddenly shows up
that's fair to say.
And he just lands a few hooks here and there and actually does really well for Giants. So it's a bit weird when Rydle plays.
Yeah, and on the other hand, H2K, this is a bot lane that even after only 5 games, they've developed this incredible synergy. We've been seeing all these really crazy level 2 all-ins, getting that first blood as early as possible.
Let's see if H2K want Rek'Sai or Lissandra for them as the first pick. Nidalee is open, but they normally always take the Rek'Sai above the Nidalee and then sacrifice that one for the other team. We haven't seen Frederick. Oh, well, we have seen him play Nidalee.
Yeah, there's a lot of options with no.
There is, I mean, a lot here, but Rek'Sai is normally one of the first picks for H2K. In this case, though, not a Rek'Sai.
They go for the Kassadin. Picked up right away. Of course, still that flex pick. See what does end up being the answer. Odoamne hasn't played Kassadin.
No, we've only seen Werlyb played once. I don't feel like that's a champion you have to take away from Giants. But the same can obviously be said by for Lissandra, for Werlyb. There's not really any of those top lane picks he's been shining on. It's again why people keep banning that Jax. It's really been his only champion. We mentioned the Sivir earlier with the Kalista ban and why Giants banned it away and not take it in the first rotation on red side. And also Rek'Sai. I feel like Giants here can be very, very happy sacrificing a Kassadin for H2K and getting 2 extremely strong picks for them. Comfort picks as well. Yeah,
and so not only do they get the Rek'Sai, which we saw some really amazing Baron steals, Frederick able to pull those off, but the Sivir is not only fairly comfortable for Adryh, it's also a takeaway from Hjarnan. That's his most played champion, with Kalista off the board as well. That would have been potentially their go-to. We'll see what H2K answers with. They don't have to take the AD right about now. They are going to lock in, however, the support, and then they take the next best jungler.
So it's a standard trade. You give Rek'Sai, you take the Jarvan. Rek'Sai is stronger early on, so this does open up for Frederick to try and create some plays, and we know he's a very active early game jungler. He really wants to try and snowball one of his lanes, and that's what Giants have done in the past. Whenever they manage to win early game, it's always been through Frederick and then Pepinero together. So if they can manage to set something up early on while the Rek'Sai is stronger than the Jarvan, I feel like that's a go-to tactic for them. And then you have this Sivir as well to really try and snowball from there with the extra mobility to always be able to start team fights.
Yeah, we'll see what Giants do add to this composition. There's a lot of utility right now. Curious to see what Pepinero chooses. I mean, I think they may want to take this one last, but as soon as I say it, he goes ahead and picks up the LeBlanc.
This is picked into a Kassadin. Normally, this is not the best matchup for LeBlanc unless you start Flask, then you can out-sustain him. We have seen Faker do it over in Korea, seen it in the Challenger series as well. But this is again picked into a Kassadin, so they're trying to force Rydle to play it. And I think he's more than happy to play Kassadin into LeBlanc. That matchup is fine for him.
Every game, KaSing hovers that zillion.
Every single. So Giants could have gone for Ahri, which in my opinion would have been better. Also because Ahri and Sivir, that insane amount of mobility when your orb is out in the air and the ulti coming from Adryh, that really allows you to dive onto the enemy backline and always dodge around skill shots so easily on an Ahri, where LeBlanc is a bit more like, gotta get the flank from the start to get the distortion damage as well in a combo.
Yeah, I feel like they definitely could have done it that way, and it would have been a little bit more intuitive. They do pick up the Alistar support pick, and on the other side, H2K going around with what they want to complete their composition with.
Huh, Alistar. We saw Alistar played yesterday against Giants Gaming, but that was because they wanted to try and punish Giants for going Kennen later on, where Alistar is a great counter to him in terms of team fighting. Now Giants just have a somewhat weak lane because Alistar doesn't really offer a lot in the laning phase itself. He's more about just healing and passive farming.
Yeah, and on H2K's side,
yeah, they have to lane.
This is a scary bot lane. The Jinx Thresh combo, it's so much safety for an immobile Jinx if you play it correctly, and you get resets, you start going nuts on that champion.
Lissandra, honestly, should be the lock in here for Giants. They need something that can dive onto this Jinx in the back line. They have the mobility to set up a fairly good engage, but they need someone to go in first. It's not going to be the Alistar. He needs to have flash ready to do it properly, for him at least. Otherwise, you should be able to kite around him a little bit. Otherwise, I mean, the Rek'Sai, we always talk about there's no hard engage from him. I guess, okay, Alistar with his Sivir ulti should be okay for the engage, but if you need to get to this Jinx and lock her down in these fights, otherwise she's going to go crazy.
Yeah, not only that, but they need something that can lock down a Kassadin, because he's just going to be riff walking all over their faces. So this is definitely going to require some hard CC. I think the Lissandra is the right choice here too.
Yeah, I really think that would be the best for him. It seems not, and instead Kennen coming in for Giants. So they do have, again, they have a strong team fight. They have a lot of AoE damage coming in. Yes, I guess the Alistar is enough in terms of engaging, but if there's a flash ready for Hjarnan, he should be able to flash out when the Alistar goes for him, dodge around that pulverizer, and then he should be able to position fairly easily. And because he has that front line of Jarvan and Maokai to protect him, peel for him a little bit, and of course the Thresh box and everything, then he will be fairly safe as long as he's not caught in a bad spot here. Giants, if they don't really get a proper flank or proper engage, I feel like H2K, especially in the late game, will have a very easy time winning the team fights.
Some definite hit or miss yesterday from Giants with that Kennen pickup. Werlyb is going to go for it again. See the coaches just discussing the way this pick and ban phase shook out. I really like the way H2K set their comp up though. If they do play it out right, this is a very intuitively powerful mixture of champions.
Yeah, they have some good lane matchups all around. Top lane can be a bit tricky for Maokai, but he can farm in most of the matchups. Kassadin, LeBlanc, we always talk about how Kassadin tends to win it unless LeBlanc can start Flask, and then maybe she can outpressure him. But the bottom lane, Jinx is great into Sivir. You outrange her completely with your rockets, and of course Alistar, fairly passive laner. So I wouldn't be surprised to see H2K try and swap, but then suddenly Kennen is in a bad situation. So we're going to have to see what they do early on.
Yeah, well, definitely will indeed. As we load into the game, let us know if you think Giants can slow down the third place H2K by tweeting us at LL Esports with their hashtags H2K win or GIA win. The crowd is pumped up. The most pumped crowd by far, I might say, as we get ready to load up onto the Rift for our first game of the day. It's H2K versus Giants Gaming.
And H2K, of course, suddenly becoming one of the top teams here in Europe. Swapping in KaSing. He's undefeated now in the LCS for H2K.
Oh, yeah.
And, of course, Giants have managed to pick up a few wins, so they have made some room to breathe, at least. MYM is 3 wins behind them, so they don't really have to worry about them too much. That is, of course, the auto relegation for Giants. They're now aiming towards the playoffs, but this week's not been easy. Fnatic first, and now H2K here on day 2.
Yeah, their goal, stay in the LCS. You're not out of the woods just yet if that's what you want to do. See Giants Gaming trying to take some control of this river. Hjarnan by himself in this brush, but he'll be all right.
So again, to talk about the lane matchups, honestly, I think Giants is going to just do standard lanes and play it fairly passive early on in the bottom lane. Don't risk too much with this Alistar, who does not offer really any poke damage.
One-man dance party down there.
Of course, and then of course you get the Kennen in the one-on-one lane in the top lane to Maokai for him. Unless H2K want to swap it around on their side, they will. Oh, Pepinero just pulling the saplings, stopping that Maokai level 2.
Denied.
I like how teams have started doing this. They now finally realize if you stop the Maokai, he can still do all the small raptors, but he won't get the big ones, so he won't get the instant level 2, and he will still burn his teleport for it. So he doesn't really get that big of an advantage compared to if he can do the full camp, get instant level 2 for himself. Gonna see if 2 saplings and then the third one coming when it spawns. How much Odoamne wants to do.
He might stick around for just a little while. It's going to get procced. He's actually just going to full on do this camp
Okay, he will do
so, yeah.
thing. Yeah,
but he has to take a little bit more time, as you mentioned. So.
But yeah, so he had enough time to build up at least 2 saplings. With Pepinero jumped in. We saw yesterday, if you denied it, when he has 2 down, if you denied that one, suddenly it becomes pretty tough for him to do it. And yeah, Giants trying to at least deny some early jungle camps, but it will be again the standard lane here.
Yeah, they interrupt that quick level 2 that Hjarnan and KaSing were looking to get out.
They're not going to get this win this race though.
Nah, yeah, this is going to be a little bit rough. Talked about the Sivir and Jinx matchup. I actually do like the spell shield is very good to stop the zap. But the rocket damage, as long as you're not spamming him too much and running out of mana, yeah, it's such a better trade for Jinx. And of course, you know.
So Thresh offers a lot more pressure in the lane because of his auto attacks. The instant CC and Lantern, he can set up Alistar for him. He has to do the full combo if you want to poke, which means if you don't have full vision of the enemy jungler, he might suddenly show up in your lane and then you're toast, and that's it. So Giants just looking to farm in that lane. They're doing this simply for the Kennen to get that one-on-one lane for himself, for Werlyb. And we want to see what Frederick can do. Get level 3. He's still healthy enough to gank, especially once he sustains from his passive. And we often see this on Rek'Sai. They go for gank before they get the Trailblazer, where the Jarvan does his root, then he goes back to base, upgrades his item, and now he can start looking for ganks. He needs to heal up. Rek'Sai can already go and clear some Skull Crabs in the river, or again this early gank.
Yeah, meanwhile...
He's going for the top lane as well. Odoamne's going to have to flash.
But yeah, Odoamne is in some serious trouble right now. He's going to have to burn that. They put... Oh, really quickly. But there is the Rek'Sai flash forward for Werlyb. That's going to be first blood, and they get the summoner for a summoner.
Frederick simply just came in. A little poke onto Odoamne, then the flash for Werlyb. He set up everything on his own here. The lane was pushed up. We talk about this one-on-one for the Kennen. Scary, scary stuff. And he's the right guy to snowball for Giants. We've seen that in the past.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be happy with that first blood gold. Meanwhile, back down to the bottom lane, H2K pushing up quite a lot. They know that the Rek'Sai is not going to be in their faces just yet. So they can do this one safely. Ryu a little bit down in experience, though, versus Pepinero in the mid.
I'm really not sure what happened for Odoamne in that lane. One-on-one. He had to flash just against the Kennen. It wasn't even about the Rek'Sai showing himself, because he should have expected that to happen. But KaSing and Hjarnan taking a good trade in the bottom lane.
Yeah, there we go. Rydle actually intercepts the zap, so the spell shield doesn't do much of anything. But really nice hook enabled there by KaSing. Uh-oh, ooh, loulex. He's going to find Pepinero right away. Not quite enough damage, though.
Just poking a little bit. Got the time on the blue buff as well, seeing as he was done fairly late, the first one by Giants. But H2K will know when it spawns, and again the poke. It all matters in the lane, because you just want your Kassadin to farm. Again, we talked about this Flask in the champ select. If you start Flask on LeBlanc, you have enough mana and HP to trade with the Kassadin. And now obviously Pepinero also going to
he's going to flash for this one. Yep, they are going to pop the mirror image, and it won't matter because Ryu is able to get enough damage out on that Tick of Ignite.
So that was really good timing by loulex, sitting around, and then as soon as the distortion were used by Pepinero, then he went in for the gank, and there was only a flash to try and get away. And honestly there, don't flash at all. You know Jarvan is going to follow you anyway. You just try and keep it and say, okay, I got caught out, I'm dead. But good response by loulex.
Good response indeed. Very, very close in the gold game. Dead even at the moment. Hjarnan and KaSing still shoving this lane further back. A decent little gold advantage, or CS advantage, I should say, built up by Hjarnan over Adryh. Rydel's not keen to let that stand, however, trying to push his way forward. But he's just taking some of that rocket abuse.
It's going to be a good lane for H2K. Get the Jinx going. We talked about how late game can be really tough for Giants to get to him. And now Werlyb, he's in trouble. He has no flash.
loulex has turned his sights up there. The flag, the drag, Odoamne. Not sure if he wants to take the fight. Still, Werlyb getting a little aggressive here. loulex is paying the price, but they've evened that one out just a little bit.
Really seen Werlyb control this lane. Get a CS lead, got the first kill for himself. Survived the gank. He was full HP, obviously. Maokai doesn't really add that much damage on his own. Frederick now. It's fun to see with Giants how if Werlyb gets a good start, Frederick will stay on the top side and keep ganking for him, or at least making sure he can counter gank if needed. But in other games where Werlyb gets shut down, they completely abandon him. They just leave him alone and say, okay, let's focus on Pepinero, let's focus on Adryh. And that's the games they've been winning if you ignore week 1. The last 2 wins they've gotten is where Frederick has paid attention to the bottom lane and the mid lane instead of the top lane itself. But obviously with this first kill for Werlyb, it is worth keep ganking for him. This one's going to be tricky to pull off. This is full HP Maokai.
Yeah, it's not going to be the easiest thing in the world. Frederick's thinking a little bit better of it right now. He's just going to go ahead and eyeball the Scuttle Crab instead. Some more derves before the main course.
Yeah, he didn't take it early. He just went straight for the gank, then he went back into his own jungle. So not really been farming the river too much. Pepinero going on to Ryu.
Yeah, Frederick taking the slow path there. Ryu a little bit low, gets locked up on the chains, knocked up, and Frederick takes him down. Nicely played.
And you see how much control Giants have on the top side of the map. 3 wards, a pink even behind. So they could see everything there. They haven't seen any wards being placed by H2K either. And therefore, Frederick could set up this gank, or what we say, Pepinero could set up the gank. Frederick could come in with the knock-up. And suddenly, Giants, 2 kills to 1. And some counter jungling.
They are doing that indeed.
Oh, they're going to wait for loulex to walk into his own Raptor camp. Not going to happen.
No, it is not. Meanwhile, on the bottom side, Hjarnan and KaSing push back a little bit. Getting close to that level 6 for both those champions. loulex just going to go up and start off the blue, giving it over to Ryu. Of course, Frederick does get some counter jungling in on this Krug camp. Could be going bot in a minute, too. That could be dangerous if Hjarnan and KaSing push out too far.
There is a ward being placed, though, by H2K. This is not the side Giants control. They have the weaker 2 and 2 lane. And the jungler put all the focus on the top side in terms of warding and ganking. So that's the side Giants can keep putting pressure on. Snowball the mid and top lane in this case. But he is setting up. He's not spotted yet, I believe. He will be seen by this ward. And H2K should be able to move back.
Oh, they're going to flash. Oh, a flash for flash. He's going to dodge the knockback. Hjarnan, though, is the one taking some damage. The heal is out. The hook is on. Not going to connect. And between that, the flame chompers, and a whole lot of messiness, nobody goes down.
That was a flash Q by Rydle, which actually allowed KaSing to flash before the headbutt came in. He wanted to try and reposition behind him. And he stayed alive. Sadly, Hjarnan had to flash as well. So a lot of summoners burned by this one gank from Frederick. He's been a very active man early on.
He has been certainly trying to get his lanes quite far ahead. loulex hanging out in the bottom side, going to discover that a few of his camps have gone MIA without pinging. Going to be able to take his red, though.
Yeah, and it's very normal in this Rek'Sai Jarvan matchup that you see Rek'Sai have the control of the early game. Normally, though, he would have more focus on getting these Scuttle Crabs in the river. But Frederick, he keeps looking for the ganks over and over. Doesn't want to just sit and farm.
Ooh. Yeah, Ryu's got a flash, though.
So yeah, he's behind in farm. It's only by 2 CS, but still, he's putting so much focus on ganking the lanes and applying pressure.
Well, 2 out of the 3 lanes, you know, they've gotten ahead on CS. Now, a lot of that has been Frederick just pressuring Odoamne, Ryu constantly.
The 1 kill was really important, especially because Pepinero died before. loulex, he's looking for another one. Gotta bait that distortion first. And now there's a flash and an ulti as well from Pepi. Ulti's now gone. And they're going in.
There we go, gets the jump on, and it's only going to be a matter of time. Ryu is going to claim another kill. Nicely helped by loulex.
He's just sitting there and he's just waiting. Okay, I know you want to go and trade with the Kassadin. And even when the ulti gets blown by Pepinero, well then it's a fairly easy gank. Second time he dies and he doesn't use the flash. He just gets locked down. This one, not sure if he could have flashed away in time. I do feel like at least you should try and pull them under the tower and then open up for a potential counter gank from Frederick. But he just saved it once again, ends up dying. loulex making sure Ryu has a good time in mid lane.
Indeed he has. Frederick's been trying to do the same thing for Pepinero. Definitely a bit greedy on that side. This time he pays the price. Hjarnan could be in some trouble. Teleport's coming up. They're going to be able to get the knockback. He's actually saving it, waiting for just a second. Here comes Werlyb. They don't actually need it. Oh, the lantern to safety. Can Hjarnan make it out alive, though? KaSing, he's trying to stay there. They've got the stun down. He's still ticking away. Oh, my goodness. Hjarnan with the great escape. And KaSing, is he going to make it out, too? It looks just like they might. Ryu has made his way here. And Rydle now, they're deep in enemy territory. The rocket is going to whiz by his ear. And they're trying to make their way out. loulex, Ryu coming up with one. A very drawn-out fight. And H2K come up with a pick.
Can't believe Hjarnan stayed alive. This was all set up by Frederick earlier when he ganked and forced the summoners. So they were just saying, okay, we can teleport behind them with our Kennen. No flash on the Jinx. We should be able to kill her and then take a dragon so easily. But no, she stayed alive. The lantern, the flay, everything from KaSing. Yes, Giants gets the dragon because they had Kennen on the bottom side. But they didn't get the kills from this top tower. Is going to die as well now, so definitely in favor of H2K.
Yeah, they're going to be able to trade that objective out, so no sweat at all. But they were sweating bullets for just a moment in that bottom lane. I mean, by the skin of their teeth. Hjarnan gets out, KaSing gets out. I mean, there was just a serious amount of tag teaming going on there. And Giants, they thought they had it locked up.
Yeah.
They didn't.
The perfect setup for Giants there would have been just, okay, you instant kill this Jinx because she has no flash, you have Kennen coming from behind, you take Dragon while your top laner recalls and he defends his top lane, and then simply you don't lose anything, you get a Dragon and a kill, but because Jinx stayed alive and it took such a long time for anything to happen, now KaSing, he's in trouble.
Yeah, KaSing, I don't think there's going to be anyone to save him. Be alive. He's going down, courtesy of Adryh, that triple team there. Hjarnan was the one who was able to make it out just fine. Now Pepinero, going to find loulex in the river. Still, Giants really, again, they're continuing this trend of just very early proactive action, just always drag every team they face around the map as much as possible and try to get these lanes ahead. Now the question is, can they keep it up?
Against Fnatic yesterday, same deal. They won the early game, but then once we got to mid and late game, that's where Giants as a team really struggle. The shot calling, I don't think it's there for them compared to some other teams, and how to play the team fights really is one of the problems from the seed again. So they want to just instantly pop Jinx here, and then you send 4 guys to Dragon after, and Kennen can go back to defend top lane. Because look, Maokai's not even there, so this is a good setup. But because Hjarnan stays alive, the play coming from KaSing as well here, it's one hit. This is one hit. And that allows now H2K. That's true. And now H2K is able to take the fight. The Maokai is just pushing the lane. Kennen is far away from it now, and that means they get a tower for it as well. Yeah,
Hjarnan could be in some trouble. This time around, there's another Lantern, though. Every time he goes too far forward, KaSing's been there to bail him out. Meanwhile, Frederick loulex is going to try to fight over this Skull Crab. It's a little dangerous situation. loulex is going to give it over as that bottom lane was there. Back up to the top lane. Werlyb getting chased down by Ryu. He is going to throw down the spear. Odoamne following on through. I think you might be the prophet in this situation, but he did miss the slow. Werlyb may have a chance in this one. Deficio yet. Ryu
Giants should just push the mid lane though.
They take him down,
There's
but Giants
2 guys
are moving.
up here. Just go straight mid lane, take that tower, trade it for the kill, and that's more than fine for you. There's no wave clear here. It's just a Thresh and a Jarvan.
Oh, and KaSing didn't land the hook. Yeah, the chains were on him as well, though. Frederick inside the Cataclysm, having to flash away the rocket, just going to whiz by everyone once again. This time it's Rydle who's in a little bit of trouble. Ryu, Odoamne just making them pay for this one, and Frederick, he's going to get the knock of the smite, but it won't be enough. Hjarnan comes up with a solo kill and all the craziness. And they don't secure the tower either.
Oh, Giants just had to hit the tower here. Don't try and go for any crazy dives. You had no ulti in your Alistar either. Teleport came in. Ryu coming from behind as well. This is going to be tower now for H2K. They completely punish Giants for being a little bit over-aggressive. No reason to go for that dive. Just take the tower and then back away.
That's exactly what H2K were able to do after all of that one. So all said and done, they snagged themselves a 2,000 gold lead. And they are looking oh so good in this one. Some priority kills on some priority targets. 4-1 now for Ryu's Kassadin.
It's a good ping ward H2K have in the river, just above the mid lane. It allows the Kassadin to roam there from the mid lane into the Baron pit, jump over the wall, and then he can go for any potential ganks on the top side. But
oh!
Wow.
Yeah, he got popped that time. There was no KaSing for the save. Ryu going to try to get the chase on to revenge. Onto Pepinero. Ryu now chasing forward. That was his 5th kill of the game. Let's see if he can grab any more in this one. Odoamne, Frederick, they're going to tag team that up. It is a double kill going over to Ryu. This Kassadin is starting to get out of control. loulex still getting the chase on. Rydle's going to have to headbutt his way into the Raptor camp, but they're actually doing way too much damage to him. Oh, he's going to get the heal. That's living dangerously, Rydle.
The Alistar tricks, warding the wall, and then you can headbutt on to the Raptor. But yeah, Ryu, 6 kills now. He got 2 in the laning phase because of loulex ganking. Waiting for Pepinero to make a play, then he came in and killed him twice. Now Pepinero himself, despite dying a few times, getting a Soul Stealer, saying, I need to snowball now, or I'm not going to win late game anyway. So I have to start making some plays. The next big team fight is going to be around the Dragon, most likely in 1 minute 30. If he gets a few kills, then this Soul Stealer is going to be more than worth it. If he ends up dying, however, then suddenly it becomes a terrible item.
All or nothing has kind of
high risk, high reward for sure.
That's just the way they like to play the game. And H2K, they may be ahead of this one after punishing several of those greedy moves.
And if Giants really want to fight for this Dragon here, I would love to see them go back and get at least a pink wall or 2. They've wanted the Dragon itself. I don't think that's going to be enough to keep control of the area. And if you do have the vision control around this fight here, you can set up a pick with the LeBlanc easy. You can get that stack, or the 2 stacks, of course, on your Soul Stealer and win the fight from it. But it seems they're happy just getting like this 1 pink ward and then fight around that.
Giants going to be able to muscle through this tower on the bottom side. After all that, too, they're setting up the vision for the Dragon. They haven't cleared the wards out of the river, as you mentioned. They do have the one pink in the brush. You can see a little bit of a buddy system between loulex and Ryu in this middle side there, so loulex could be making his way over to the pit.
There's going to be no problems for H2K to walk into the dragon area itself, because they have plenty of wards around. You can see one being placed here by KaSing to see how many from Giants is on the bottom side. So this is going to be a very even 5-on-5. Dragon is spawning now in 10 seconds. Pepinero is coming down from the top side. Rek'Sai has her ulti, of course. This ping is now dead. And suddenly you have no control. Double ping ward on the side of H2K. If they move in there now, they're going to take up the dragon or take over the area completely.
Yeah, and it's just, you got to wonder, if you weren't planning to defend it, why did you even put the vision in there in the first place? It's cleared out. They're going to go ahead and start this dragon off. And actually, Giants, they're not going for it. They started to move up top, and, well, obviously there's no Baron available. So they just go ahead and give this one away, and it's an easy take for Hjarnan and loulex.
If you're already giving away objectives, you don't feel like you should fight them. You're against the Jinx, we know is one of the best late game carries. Maokai Kassadin as well, scaling fantastic into the late game. Then you will be in trouble. If you cannot contest anything now, you won't be able to in 10, 15 minutes
And
either.
they're giving up parts of their jungle, too. I mean, they just completely walked away from that. Up top, Werlyb is going to be able to take down an outer turret, but it was already close to dead. Minis probably would have done the job anyways. So it just seems like their map awareness is not really there.
Well, H2K needs to put down the put back the Maokai to defend this lane for him. Oh, Ryu is going to face it.
Oh, that's a lot more damage than Peppy can deal. Ryu's going to get the chase on. Trying to get in there. Ryu's still going to make the kill. 7-1. Even though they are losing some turrets on the top side, they're able to take them on down bots. Werlyb and Frederick still pushing in here. Tremorsense going to be able to detect Odoamne, who's going the safe route. Meanwhile, Hjarnan getting knocked up, but loulex is there with the flag. The Flame Choppers, the Cataclysm, as tanky as he is, they're still trying to take him down. Not quite enough damage, and Werlyb and Frederick have been pushed up the top after the fact. Teleport now for Werlyb to try and save this turret. Looks like as well they spend the ulti from Rek'Sai. loulex is trying to bail out of this one. Another teleport coming in on the flag, actually. Not sure why that one happened. Odoamne was expecting a fight.
Well, he might still get one, because Giants is chasing in the bottom lane. And Odoamne is going in.
Yeah, Werlyb, Frederick, they're a little bit isolated from the rest of the team. Hjarnan, those rockets start to sting. Here comes the big one, and it is going to hit Werlyb for some serious damage. Odoamne still wants to chase this out. No
more kills for Ryu.
Going forward, Werlyb is going down. Ryu with a godlike kill. Sub 20 minutes into the game. H2K know what they want, Deficio.
Getting a little bit silly now, though. Giants just completely over chasing, ignoring the TP from Odoamne, and the rest of H2K coming down. Pepinero. He wants loulex and the Grump.
He might just get him. That looks like he's able to pick that one up cleanly, so add a couple of stacks to his book. But Giants, you're right, they have been very, very greedy in their movements, and H2K is punishing them more often than not.
Yeah, for sure. Only mistake from H2K before was not sending back the Maokai and even the Thresh in this case to defend the top lane. They stayed mid lane for a long, long time and gave up 2 towers. The first one is okay because you were trading for the bottom one, but the second one, you should have been there to defend because you were already pushing on the bottom side. You had teleport from the Maokai. That was a small misplay. Gave Giants quite some global gold, which is what they're trying to get here. Really trying to hit a very, very, very strong mid game for them. But they need at least the static shift completed on Sivir before they can look for any fights.
Agreed. Yeah, it is worth noting that because of that misplay, H2K are really not very far ahead. In fact, they're very, very close in gold. To Giants, it's just about even right now. They're still down a tower, and obviously it's a dragon to a dragon. So even though they're playing a little bit better, well, the game's where it's at. Let's see how that one all played out.
Right, so Frederick and of course Werlyb using their global, you can say Summoner and ulti. But now when they start chasing, they see their teleport from Odoamne and they keep running for Hjarnan. How are you going to catch him at all when you know the rest of H2K is coming? And this obviously means they will lose the fight. Ryu is going to take another kill. 8 kills for him and 9 kills for H2K as a team. He's looking pretty good in this Kassadin.
Oh, yes, indeed. Meanwhile, back to mid lane, we've got a little bit more of a chase, looking for a side of beef, and it's Odoamne who's going to pick it up. Hjarnan getting excited with that assist in there. Still very difficult for Giants to straight up fight this one, and they won't be able to do it without their tank line right now. H2K looking to push in some more towers.
Yeah, we didn't get to see how the engage started, but once again, Rydle going in and subdying. Werlyb now, he's looking for a flank, but you're only 4 guys from Giant's side. Just try and wave clear, guys. Don't make any risky plays. It's not worth it, man. If you lose the next fight, well, ooh, might even see a Baron being started by H2K at this point.
Yeah, Ryu, he checked a little bit too close to Pepinero. But you're right, it has been a large amount of unnecessary risk from Giants' side this game. So far, it's not treated them incredibly kindly. KaSing going to go ahead and clear out the Rek'Sai tunnels into the Baron pit. A minute and a half till the next dragon is going to spawn. We might see that be the next theater of war in this game.
Yeah, we will see at least H2K chill back a little bit. You want your teleport ready for the Maokai. And then you can split out in this standard 1-3-1 where you have the Jinx in the mid lane. Both side lanes are being pushed up by, first of all, a very tanky Maokai in one lane and a Kassadin who can kill everyone because he has 8 kills already, 22 minutes in. Push those lanes, pressure them into the tier 2 turrets, and then again, you can take that short route through the enemy jungle because you should have the vision control there and the lane pressure, while Giants have to take the long route around to defend the towers. They will go down, especially against the Jinx who can kill towers so fast. That should be the go-to tactic for H2K after the dragon has been taken, and teleport should be ready again for Odoamne as well.
Yeah, I really like that H2K shown some, dare I overuse the term strategic diversity, in the way that they've played out their roles, especially here. Ryu finds a lot more damage. He has been really playing more of a carry role this game. Last game, yet of course, it was much more supportive. Zone everybody out of the way so that the Kalista could get big, as Dentis was saying on the desk. But this time around, hey, he got a couple kills, he picked it up, and all of a sudden, he's the one that Giants are running away from.
Yeah, we keep seeing Giants go down a minute before the dragon spawns, get a few wards around it, especially a pink ward, and then just leave it. You have a LeBlanc. Force people to come and face check you when you are sitting in that bush where you know they can't see you. They walk in to try and clear it. You get a lot of burst damage on one target, maybe even get a kill. You force them to back away from this dragon and you can now pick it up. But instead, they place the pink, leave it on its own, and go back to the lane so H2K just walk in and take over the dragon area for the second time. So Giants not really playing around these objectives correctly. This is the amount of damage you could have done.
Yeah, it wasn't enough for the follow-up. But this time you can see immediately they peeled off of this one. Odoamne is going to try to start the fight here as Giants trying to bail out through the jungle. Werlyb, they are trying to. Yes, Rydle is going to pop that one. Unbreakable will, but will he go down? It looks like they're going to hook him up and serve him up for dinner in just a moment, but he's going to be able to flash and get the headbutt knockup, that is. He's going down eventually. loulex is able to take him, but still, Giants are just scattered around, and now this should be the dragon take once again.
And this is what happens when H2K get to pick the fights and engage them again. When you have Maokai, when you have Jarvan, that front line itself, if they get to dive onto you, you're never going to get past them. You have to just keep running and look for like flank kind of engages while the fight is going on. That's nearly impossible for Giants. So because they keep giving up the vision to H2K, they never get a good position where they can start a fight and try and pop a target first. They allow H2K to use their comp perfection, I guess we can say. And that's why H2K keep winning the fights. And also 8 kills on the second.
Yeah, that was perfect as it gets in that regard. So they go ahead and take that second dragon of the game. Giants looking to try and collapse. Hjarnan got to be oh so careful. There is a Pepinero smelling blood in the water, but he can't really get anywhere. loulex is going to be able to flag and drag his way to safety as well. So H2K just able to grab the objectives they need and make their way out.
And even get back to the mid lane. Defend that one despite Giants pushing in with 5 guys.
Yeah, Peppy is just oh so thirsty this game for those kills, but hasn't been able to pick up more than just the 2. Werlyb now, he's the one who's caught up. KaSing taking a lot of damage, but Ryu is in there as well. There goes the Maelstrom. Pepinero is going to pick up KaSing, but H2K, do they have the damage to rocket execute? Smacks Werlyb in the face, and Hjarnan getting excited, coming up with more. They're looking for another kill. Oh, he flashes. He doesn't have enough damage on Frederick. The chase, the double kill comes in from Pepinero on the back of that one. Hjarnan thought he had it all locked up. And in the confusion, they pick themselves up at 2 for 3, but Peppy's got to be careful. Those rockets are starting to stink.
That was actually a win for Giants in this fight here, but Hjarnan tried to clean it up, just didn't get that last kill for the next reset. H2K feeling very confident. That was after a fight, a dragon, and then back to another one. KaSing is going in with Odoamne. Everyone is fairly low on mana on the side of H2K. Once you see the Jinx, you can see the same deal for her. And they don't really get to engage properly. 50% HP in Ryu when the fight starts. So not really the right setup for them. And that's why Giants will get 3 kills, but it's still such a close fight, and Hjarnan almost got the last kill on Frederick.
Yeah, he thought he had the kill. And then
passive OP.
Still didn't have the kill, oh well, but Frederick makes it out. And in all of that, yeah, Pepinero's able to come up with a double. They do clean up the fight relatively well, so really I feel like that was just H2K not exactly firing on the right pistons in the right order. So we'll see if this plays out again. Nonetheless, Giants taking advantage of a bad situation for H2K and coming up with 3 for 2.
Punished him for taking that fairly greedy fight. I mean, again, Rio was on 50% HP when he jumped in the first time. And Pepinero getting those 2 kills means he's Soul Stealer, if I read it correctly, sitting on 10 stacks.
He's halfway there, man.
Now, it is really paying off for him. Could be the way for Giants to get back in the game. It's still not looking great for them. But get a few more kills on him, and you do have your 1 carry, who might be able to take the game for you.
Might be able to, indeed. Game settled down just a skosh, as H2K still look to pressure around the map. Giants wandering in the direction of the Baron pit. Could be in some trouble. Yeah, you can see Pepinero didn't want any of that once he saw loulex the hook a few inches from his face. Clear out that pink ward nonetheless.
Same again, though. Have a pink ward down. Sit in that bush. If the Thresh walks into climb to try and clear it, you one-shot him. Like, that's it. He's dead. Don't stand next to it instead, and you'll basically allow H2K to see all the members, get all the information they need, and know, okay, can we walk in here? Can our AD carry walk in? Or is there a risk of a LeBlanc jumping the wall and one-shotting him? So H2K have had no problems avoiding the fights, for sure, and avoiding the picks the Giants could create with their comp.
They have not at all. 28.5 minutes on the clock. Giants making moves towards this Baron, but there's a Scuttle Crab Shrine there to spy them out if they try anything fishy. H2K now trying to pressure up the mid. Oh, caught Adryh. He's going to be able to spell shield it, but that's still a lot of damage. That was not quite returned on Odoamne. Gone the full tank route.
And we do see H2K just stay together as 5, because they have been able to get fights nearly all game long. They're not splitting up this 1-3-1 setup they could have done on their side. Also, I guess, respecting the Sivir ulti, because if you do split up and they engage on your Jinx, especially when she doesn't have flash, that would be risky. So I think they're making the right call, staying together. It's just really tough to push on a Sivir wave clear. Even a LeBlanc can add some to it, and you don't want to move too far up in towards the enemy tower if you don't have proper wards on the side, because then suddenly you open up for that flank we talk about so often with a Kennen, with a LeBlanc, and that's how you can win a fight from Giants' side.
Yeah, and it's 2 things that Giants really have well going for them.
Look at that,
and the
Freddy coming in from side now.
And they've also got the flank potential, but is it going to be too late? Pepinero getting shut down just like that. Rydle now in some trouble. Frederick trying to wreak some havoc in the backline. Hjarnan, though, it's a double kill going over to Rio Werlyb in the middle with the Maelstrom. Throws down his Maelstrom, or throws down his Zhonya's, I should say, but he gets taken down anyways by Hjarnan. Thank you very much. Now the rest of Giants are just scattering left and right. A double kill going over to Hjarnan. They should be able to clean up this turret too. Just waiting for the minions to arrive, and it's only Adryh there to try to defend this one. It might be Baron time to Fishio.
And just when Giants was setting up for an engage, we saw the ulti from Frederick coming down behind H2K. Then they just go straight up for the dive here on the Pepinero. They popped him. He used the distortion first to get in and get some poke on Hjarnan. And then it was an easy target for Odoamne. Baron should go down.
Oh yeah, half its health already depleted right there. 30 minutes into the game. They just are starting to have some serious damage output. No one available to contest. Easy Baron pickup for H2K. Got themselves out to a nice lead at a 30-minute mark.
So let's see it again. Frederick ulti's down behind H2K. You can see Kennen move from the top. So they were setting up for their engage here from the Giant side. But because Pepinero, I guess we say he got caught out by the Maokai, he dies first. And now, even though it's under the tower, Odoamne plays this one fantastic. Even locking down the Kennen on the way in to the enemy team or into his own team. He stops him, has the ulti around for the 20% damage reduction. Odoamne, the real MVP of that fight for sure.
Absolutely, and they covered where they needed to, even though they did get flanked. They were able to juggle the turret aggro, immediately make that play. Now, Pepinero again, we go right back to him. It seems like he's always trying to start a fight, but that time he didn't get the better of it. Odoamne now on the chase. The minions are going to slow him up for just a second as he starts his way away. Rio, though, you cannot fight this guy, 11-2. Dragon picked up quite easily with the combination of loulex and Hjarnan. That's their 3rd of the game. They'll have that extra mobility here.
I like what Frederick is doing. He has the Rek'Sai ulti, so he can always get back to base if needed very, very fast. And he's now trying to at least push one lane. So H2K don't have Baron buffed minions in every single one, and might think, okay, if we don't get the right push, we have to go back. So now as soon as they get into the tower. Giants once again looking to find a real.
Oh, whoa, he throws
now.
down the Zanias. He definitely is going to die. This could be some serious trouble. Frederick is the one picking up the kill. Rydle, though, very low. Pepinero, he's caught up by the Twisted Advance, but there's no follow-up damage. Hjarnan trying to get away from Werlyb and Frederick. They're taking a lot of damage. Giants might have just found the ace if they can pick up KaSing here. 4 kills to 0. KaSing trying to keep himself safe, and no, they're not going to follow it. Pepinero comes up with a triple kill, and Giants Gaming comes up with the ace.
Yeah, H2K felt so confident they could just go for the push. They had the Baron buff, they had the Jinx to take down towers, and then Rio got destroyed, I believe, just purely one-on-one to Pepinero, and Frederick joined in to clean up the kill. And then it was a 5 versus 4. Giants getting at least an inhibitor in the top side. Let's see if they can get more.
Yeah, big misplay there for H2K. Giants, no more Baron buffs on the H2K squad either. They're going to get this inhibitor. Ryu is coming up trying to make a fight happen, but they don't have the backup just yet. See if they can chase them on the outside of it. He is going to jump on forward, but immediately getting popped as Adryh comes up with a pick. There goes the rocket. They've softened him up here, but can they take him down? Just shuffling the aggro all across the board, and they have had to bail away. Odoamne now trying to go man mode, but they're just jumping and dancing around. Here comes Hjarnan. Can he clean this one up? Frederick in the front. Hjarnan gets one. Looking for Adryh the Rockets. He's going to get 2. Looking for more. Rydle throws down the choppers. He should be able to secure the triple. There it is. Getting excited, running across the map again. And they stay just a little too long on the side of Giants Gaming. Hjarnan comes up with a triple kill.
All H2K tried to do here was just buy time for Hjarnan to get there. Every single guy from Giants was so low. It was just about clean up for him. So, let's see, this is the fight before, and really gets popped by Pepinero, even stays alive himself, and now the fight is on. The tower is helping Giants, and only 4 guys from H2K, so it's clean up time. Hjarnan not able to kill anyone, but get a reset for himself. Werlyb and Frederick onto him. He goes down in the end. Of course, KaSing, he tried to make the hero move, but the Raptors helped killing him.
Yeah, the Raptors playing for Giants Gaming this time around. So Hjarnan comes up after the fact, comes up with that triple kill. And Giants get chased out, but they do pick that first inhibitor of the game. The way this was looking, it didn't seem like that was going to be the case, but they have shown that you cannot underestimate them. You cannot get too close. And look at this. Pepinero waiting oh so patiently, but the Lantern, no thank you.
Second fight we're going to see. So Rio here, he's going to try and buy time with loulex, but it's such a nice setup by Giants with the CC chaining onto him, so they kill him first. And again now, loulex will go down. Odoamne is extremely tanky. Okay, loulex didn't go down. Never mind that one. Anyway, Odoamne doing his best there, just waiting for this Jinx to arrive. There's so many times. Like, that's a pentakill right here. If he'd been there just a few seconds before, he does get a triple for it, and the rest of Giants managed to back away. But they got an inhibitor for it. I think it was worth it.
Yeah, I think it definitely was worth it for Giants Gaming because there wasn't really a ability for H2K to grab anything out of that since it was so close to their own base. Then they had to deal with the super mini wave that was starting to flow out there. Giants now on the bottom side, 4 strong, are going to try to push this one in. You see Pepinero just trying to ward off anybody who might want to be in that direction. H2K just failed to respond to this.
Yeah, this was the same thing Giants did against Elements. They have a wave on the bottom side, and H2K in this case will just spread out in all the lanes, and Giants just go 5-man. Just push it in, get a free tower for themselves. Now H2K have repositioned. They will be looking for a fight. Rio is on the top side here, just in front of your screen.
This game
in that base gate.
A lot closer than they might have expected. How Pepinero, oh, the legendary Riftwalk Zanias. The bait comes out of Rio. Werlyb now a little bit slowed up for a second. Pepinero still looking to see if he can dive in. KaSing is a target in his sights.
Whoa!
And following all the way. That was a long twisted advance. The rocket's going to connect, but it goes to the wrong LeBlanc. Meanwhile, in the backside, Werlyb is just making everybody pay, but he finally goes down. One reset for Hjarnan. Can he get another? The knockup, a double kill. He's able to secure it. Rydle causing havoc in the back. It looks like Giants Gaming are all but getting cleaned up. A triple kill going over to Hjarnan, and they are running to defend that top side.
I don't even know why we call it the reset. It's called get excited. Anyway.
Get reset.
Get reset, get excited, get everything on this Jinx. Werlyb tried to dive onto him. He stayed alive. He had the shield coming in from KaSing and everything. And Odoamne just flying with Pepinero, locking him down so he couldn't get onto the back lane.
It's like watching a zip
on
line.
his own, yep.
That was a fast tree. Now 3 members of H2K are looking to push
Pepinero's
up
not done.
Pepinero, if he can get a pick here. Turret's already down. He's got to make some fast work. He's going to jump in now. Oh, he's flayed back. KaSing with the timing. An inhibitor in the middle. taken out by H2K. One and done. They're going to run out of there. Talk about guerrilla warfare.
Still 3 dragons. Anyway, let's see it. So, Odoamne traveling with Pepinero. So he's now stuck in the back. We can see how Rydle and Werlyb, they've gone on to the Jinx here, but there's not enough damage to kill Hjarnan. The shields, and because Pepinero's been busy dealing with their Maokai, H2K can manage to keep the AD carry alive, not get a reset, but they get excited instead. Again, not sure what we got the reset
That was
from.
a pretty exciting game so far.
It was.
Triple kill, yeah, we've seen a few of those from Hjarnan now. His score lines up to 10, 2, and 6. Big impact for H2K. Ryu also doing quite well. Here we go with the spawn of the Baron. They're going to clear out the ward, not go to take that just yet. H2K is not too far behind, and they could very well get punished. Giants, however, are roaming as 5.
The last 20 minutes has just been all 5-on-5 team fighting.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
been any split pushing or really setting up any traps. No, it's just walk towards each other, start a fight somehow. And Ryu is going in again.
Oh, there's a teleport.
Behind.
Here we go. Odoamne going to come a little bit late. There we go. The flashing over the wall. Ryu, Werlyb in some serious trouble, but Ryu is the one nearly going to go down. A pair of Zanya's hourglasses, but it's Werlyb getting knocked back in the rocket to take him down. Hjarnan coming up with another. H2K looking to see if they can set up the bait again. Ryu's actually going to go ahead and recall in the confines of the Thresh box.
Here.
Yeah, they've got to get back to defend this inhib. You see Ryu clearing this one out, but Odoamne might be the sacrificial tree in this situation. loulex is there, doesn't really want to take this one. He's going down. They give that one up. Meanwhile, there's still minions, though, pushing in the middle, and Giants, they can't take anything off this. They have to back.
Have to back and defend them here. So Ryu saved the inhibitor from H2K, and we keep seeing every time...
Oh,
no.
It was close.
No tower. Almost. Dragon is alive. Giant is ready. There's 3 for H2K.
That's a lot of damage.
Only 1 for Giants, so they really want to pick this one up here. It's trying to delay that potential 5th dragon we might get to see with the way this game is going.
They're going to proc it, but they're not feeling super safe. They do clear the Scuttle Crab out, however, grab themselves a bit of vision. But you want to start denying these dragons here. It's very important. H2K only 2 away from that all-important 5th dragon buff. And the longer they wait to really start this one off, the closer everyone from H2K gets here.
H2K should back away. Don't risk anything right here. You don't have your tank. He's dead still. And your support is not even there. Just give it over.
Yeah, they do.
You don't want to jump in with your jungler either and sacrifice yourself for it.
Not the worst thing in the world. When you're only giving a 2nd dragon to Giants.
Exactly.
Yeah, they can afford to do that for now.
It's fun. We get to see how the comms work, because every time H2K gets to engage into the team fights, they win it, because they get the front line in. They get to either lock down the LeBlanc or the Kennen. So you know the Jinx is going to stay alive, and she can get excited, and she can clean up the fights. And whenever Giants seems to get the right flank or the right engage, they win the fight, because suddenly they get to pop a very important target. Hjarnan has to either kite back or he's just dead straight up, and then there's not enough damage from H2K's side to win.
And same from Ryu, too.
So really, it's so much about this very boring vision control now for Giants, because they got to be able to set up these flanks correctly. And for H2K, well, you can fight out in the open as long as you can see Giants and you can start the fight. You should be able to win it.
They can definitely dictate the pace as a result of that one. 40 minutes into this game. We're closer to seeing how this one ends. 6-7 is that tower score. So many dangerous threats. Pepinero, where did his health bar go? They don't fall for the clone, but he's going to get healed up. Just like that. He's going to be out of this fight. There's no inhibitor in the middle. Yeah, I think so. That was a lot of damage from Ryu.
No hit with his W. He's going to pop Pepinero every single fight.
Oh, that match.
If he gets to. I don't think they should start the Baron here. It's never mind. Actually, Pepinero's back in base.
Yeah, but Frederick has been.
There's still a chance of
seriously making some plays.
And that's the thing. I don't think H2K has to start it. They can just keep fighting instead of risking this one.
Oh, I don't know. This is going to be close. It does get secured up by H2K. They take down Frederick as well. Werlyb trying to keep them all in the back of the pit. Hjarnan picks up another kill of his Pepinero. They just jump all over him. Werlyb going down. It's a double kill. Going over to loulex Giants Gaming now. Only with Rydle, and that's not going to last for very long. They should be able to take him out any day now, as long as he tries to last this one. Dead timers are ticking. That's the ace, and they're going to push in. It looks like that's going to be a win for H2K.
As long as you trust in your jungler to outsmite Frederick, a guy who has stolen a few Barons in the past.
It's true.
I guess it's okay you started it here from H2K's side. They got to clean it up as well.
Oh, yes, indeed. And now they get to claim the prize. One Nexus turret is going down. The second one, it is just so quick with Hjarnan. That damage out of that minigun is just insane. And H2K, 41.5 minutes in, that's a W.
A good start to the game for H2K. Or from Giants, we can say really early on. But then H2K, they got into the mid game point. Ryu got so many kills on this Kassadin early, 2 in the laning phase itself. And it felt like they goofed around just a little bit around the later stages. Got caught out a few times.
Parts of it.
Giants got the right engages, full credit to Giants. They got the good flanks, and therefore they got back in the game.
What was so strange about that game was it seemed like even though the team coordination was at such a high level, there were a lot of solo queue-esque plays, a lot of the individual efforts, a lot of the crazy, out-of-control Fed champions. You can see H2K, they're very happy with that win, but it came close. They gave up a lot of fights.
They did, and that's what I mean. I think it looked so good for them. They knew they had like the better late-game team fighting comp as well, as long as you keep the Jinx alive. So they just felt extremely comfortable and confident. And I think that's why we got to see maybe a little bit of over-aggressive plays or slacking a little bit on the wards suddenly, so Giants got the right engages. And that's where Giants as a team, this is really what they do so well. Despite being behind and have lost so many games in the LCS, they keep it really, really cool in game. And when they see one opening, they take it and they punish you for it. They got that top lane inhibitor down. They won a few team fights despite being 5,000 gold behind. They did it against Elements, where they came back and won the game. We've seen it time and time again from Giants. That's full credit to them. They keep it so cool and so focused, even though they're behind.
Yeah, they were able to do that. And really, the record that they have right now, I don't think really does justice to how much they have improved as a team on this big stage. They played very, very well. And as you mentioned, from behind, they're really, really able to come up with it. I think Frederick, especially on Rek'Sai, is going to be something people are going to have to start prioritizing. Maybe not in the bans, but still, that is a really, really scary thing. For H2K, they played extremely well. Also, they were able to dictate the game the way that they wanted to play it. But at the same time, there were definitely some cracks there that I think, despite their winning streak, a lot of teams could look to exploit. Watch that video over and over again.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. We don't know how H2K were communicating in terms of the late game. If it just became a bit of like, let's just win this game, blah, 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 we don't really have to focus anymore, or whatever. Because it just looked like they did everything right in the mid game, had great warding, they engaged every single team fight, they got a good goal lead, and then they just stopped. They just simply stopped and allowed Giants to suddenly get the right engages, but hopefully we can talk to them and hear what happened and why Giants got back in the game, because they got fairly close in the end.
Well, despite the fact that you have a 13-4-5 Kassadin and a 12-2 Jinx.
Yeah, he was 8-1 with
those
9
score
kills.
lines. Yeah, those score lines, usually people look at that and go, oh, that game's over.
Yeah.
But Giants were able to find a way back into it just by popping 1 of 2 of those targets. Pepinero was just an absolute beast. Even though he himself died a lot. I mean, that's oftentimes the result of going in on a mission, that he was always getting this close to death or actually getting taken down. But he had some spectacular individual plays. And I think this is the Pepinero that a lot of people expected to see going into this spring split. He just really had some monster performances.
He has some good mechanics, and he's been one of the big playmakers for Giants. He was it again before they qualified for the LCS. He's still one of the big playmakers, and we often see them put a lot of focus on him and hope he gets a lead early, because then he can make some plays on the likes of a LeBlanc. But in this game here, he was shut down in the laning phase purely by loulex ganking him and waiting for that distortion, the trade to happen, and then he went in and killed him twice, got the 2 early kills for Ryu, which was really important. And then suddenly for Giants, once you fall behind and the enemy team has such a good comp to engage onto you, it just became really, really difficult for them to play. And full credit again, keeping it cool, almost coming back. But I don't think H2K is going to look too much at that game and say, oh, this is our level. No, I think they're going to say, we messed up in the late game. Let's not do it again, because it came too close.
Exactly. And they did hit a really nice mid-game power spike. They were able to come into that phase of the game really, really strong after the fact that they got Ryu kind of snowballing ahead. But because of Giants really focusing on Werlyb up in the top lane, he got that 1 kill. He was never able to get another one, ended up 1-8-9 on the game. But he also had a lot better positioning this game on the Kennen. I was really impressed with that in particular. He
had some decent team fights, but we also saw how H2K tried to shut him down. But Giants, another loss, sadly for them. There's still quite a gap down to medium makers, so they can keep it fairly cool.
Yeah, I do want to see what they have to say. Let's go ahead and head back to the